We are programmed by our teachers who understand the nature of human beings. You give us a gold star, we behave and we do what you want. I get another gold star. I want to beat my classmates and get another gold star. So I'm willing to give up who I am for my teacher who'll give me a gold star. Now, if I really challenge my teacher, not even being rude to my teacher, and my teacher feels challenged, they will just say, Dean, go outside the classroom. So it comes down to the balance of how much I am willing to be out of the classroom and how many gold stars I want.
Yeah.
Now, there was something that happened in my school where a teacher named Miss Rowe in 1983 told me to go and stand in the corner. And before I went and stood in the corner, I picked 13 gold stars off the star chart and I rinsed them under my foot. And the closest person to me had 8 stars. I'm very competitive. You know, like we shouldn't really keep these things in our mind, but I'm always competing. I'm always watching. Even today, like if I were to go into a particular industry and somebody else were in that industry, you know, I use them as a measure. And I say,
makes sense.
But with my business experience, I'm better than you. I did this. I know someone who was selling clothes, and then I said, I'm going in the clothes thing. And I said, I'm going to take them out. And then I took them over and said, no, I took you over. In my head. So they need to say it out there. So I'm very competitive. I'm aware of my environment completely. So within that, I peeled off those stars, rinsed them in the floor, and I'm now screwing her before I turn around in the corner. But what I realize is I didn't need any external validation after that. I wasn't looking for anybody. And that was the beginning for me, because there was something else I used to do. I would always, for some reason, get to school late and miss swimming. But I used to have this little Puma bag. So then I would go in the stockroom, help myself to barrel pens, Brit stick, pack of books, because I used to draw copiously. And I would just do that to make up for how I felt. And I realized, even at that young age, I was living totally outside of the system. And how I was thinking led me to be unmanageable. Because even as they were saying things, even if I seemed compliant, it was based on my interest that I didn't want to get in trouble with my mum. It was nothing to do with their influence. So I lived outside of the system since I was like 8 years old. But it's not a concept I could ever comprehend, you understand? One, I didn't know I was being programmed, or we were being programmed. I didn't know I was resistant to it based on the interpretation of my spirit voices, having conversations about this woman where I'm looking and saying, she's a basic bitch and I'm only 9 years old. Why is he having these kind of monologues in his head, looking at the teacher? But that's how I was from then. And I realized that it was a spiritual resistance. And I realized that the operating system that I came with couldn't be imprinted on. And thereby we're the anomalies. And that's why the homosexual transvestite J. Edgar Hoover said the biggest threat to America is the Black Moses. And I understand it. And I actually make him right. Because if we can take from being nowhere on an exceptional program and make something, remember the first time children in America were getting a free breakfast who were poor was from Black teenagers. The Panthers. So if we can do that, how could you ever let us rise to compete with you who can't do that systematically? But Black teenagers figured out how to feed poor Black children and white children systematically. I understand why they fight us. I don't ask what we did. We didn't do anything.
No. You just got to know who we are.
It's who we are. So, do we operate on a shit operating system?